Hello everyone and welcome to Lush and Salty Aquariums. My name is Stefan and I love that you're at my channel. Alright, so in a previous video I talked about how I deforested, clear cut, just totally went to town on my two of my aquariums in terms of trimming the plants. I showed a video about the 22.5 gallon ADA. This is my Oase. Oh, I thought there was a logo there. Wrong! But this is my Oase Cinescaper 20 gallon in the classic size. Rimless, twin starlight, canister filter in the cabinet here, all that good stuff. But I wanted to show you this other tank that was also clear cut. You see the stem plants in the back all trimmed down to their nubs. Now this is about 3 days ago when I did it, and I can see, I think this is Atra, H''RA, the stem plant, Rotala, Atra, I think, or is it Ludwig? I get confused, but I know it's the Atra, and it's gonna get glorious red new growth, especially because of the highlight and CO2. This is Ludwigia repens, I believe, and I don't see any red color, but save for maybe a little on those new growth tops. These will be fast growing, and I can't wait because I don't like seeing the effects of my quote-unquote clear cut on this tank. So I wanted you to see that now. I talked about how it was a necessary evil to do this every couple of months in your aquarium if you're getting fast growth like I do. The Hygrophila P here on both of these spiderwood sections has been also heavily trimmed. I left some long stems, but not many, and a few short, well, actually a lot of the shorter new growth to try to create two clusters or bunches, which you can do with this plant. You can let it go to tall stem, or you could keep it more base and compact, and I'm sort of doing both in this tank, but when I do the clear cut, I get rid of all the tall stuff, everything in the mid and upper water from all the plants. And then on the bottom, I pulled out some crypts and some of the sage that was getting too heavy. This plant here sends out countless root tendrils, and I pulled all that stuff out. I pulled algae out from the dwarf hairgrass, or not algae, excuse me, moss. And you see some Christmas moss strands. They tend to fall into your carpet, your plant carpet, little pieces of moss that you might pull or trim, or just they fall off. And what they do is they'll go into here and they'll begin growing. They're very happy to grow amidst the ground cover. And if you let that happen too much, basically you're gonna have a moss carpet, which isn't all bad, but since I'm growing primarily hair grass here, but you see all this sage coming in, and I'm okay with all of that as long as it's relatively healthy. I'll talk about this cluster in a moment. As long as it's all healthy, I mean, I don't see the real problem in letting more than one plant become your carpet at the bottom. And so I don't really have a lot of choice in the matter. I can just pull stuff away, but it's always going to be there. Just to finish off, basically I have dragonstone with spiderwood and the Hygrophila P, and then the stems in the background and some floating plants up top. I threw a few strands of water sprite from my sump. That's the quote stem plant unquote, which actually works just as well as a floater. And then I've got the ubiquitous frog bit topwater plants. I'm trying not to keep as many as I usually do in all my tanks because I want the light to saturate more. At least I do right now. That could also create certain problems, like the one I'm about to talk about now. When you clear cut your tank from side to side, top to bottom, you're opening up an opportunity for algae. And I'll show you some. You see there's some right there, some blackbeard algae, I believe, on that one leaf from the hygrophila. And I cut a lot of them out. I just found that one as I'm filming this video. But because the plants, the new growth, the ones that photosynthesize, are removed by yours truly, it gives the algae a front seat to drive your tank for a while. And until those plants start to do what they do, algae's gonna come, like on your stems, like you see here, and on your plants and wherever. So it is one of the problems when you pull too many plants out at once. I watched a Japanese video, I think from ADA, and the guy giving the tutorial said, just trim some of your plants at any given time to avoid this issue. But I'm an impatient man, and you know, I jumped into this tank with my shears, and I just figured I'll deal with the algae when it comes, and it's come, and now I'm dealing with it, I'm talking about it, and I'm filming it. So what all these creatures are doing, primarily the invertebrates, you see some mystery snails and some Neocaridina and a teeny tiny Pleco, and they're all on top of one algae wafer, which is what I supplement my invertebrates. And even though I have algae and they'll have other things to eat, I don't do too much supplementing of these bottom feeders, these algae eaters, because I want them to stay focused on the job, which is cleaning this tank. But sometimes you just have to, or I want to, just to make sure they're all doing well. What a great group of cherry shrimp, right? These aren't Bloody Marys, at least they weren't sold to me. They were sold as the fire red, like the grade AA, and they certainly are. These are just deep red. This is unfiltered, and so wow, right? And then you see a blue one, a blue dream. I've got some of those in there as well, and I think maybe even some yellow. So basically what they call a Skittles arrangement of Neocaridina shrimps. But here you see everybody kind of feasting on the piece of algae wafer. This little Pleco I got months ago, and it was the same size. I don't know if I've got a true like dwarf that's a DNA flaw, some kind of deformity. It doesn't die, and it seems to be doing fine, but it just flat out isn't growing. It's staying the same size as my Ottocinclus. So that's a weird phenomenon. I would have assumed it would have been 3 times that size already. I don't mind it staying small. I'm just curious as to why. Anybody have any thoughts on that? I'd love to hear, because it's the first time I've experienced anything like that with any species of fish, where it's basically stunted. And I'm surprised, because Plecostomus have hardy appetites, and they're just not known for that particular deformity, if that's what it is. So that's a bit of a conundrum for me. I've got a group of green neons, which I adore. I wish they would be out more, and maybe by trimming the tank so heavily they will be, because normally they're in the back in the forest of stems. And then here I have the classic Becksford pencilfish. I call this a boring fish in another video, and I guess it is, but they're healthy and happy, and when the light hits them right, you get a terrific coppery orange, not unlike a Harlequin rasbora, but mostly they're brown, right? And here they are, and they're gonna live their best life, regardless of whether I think they're boring or not. Maybe they think I'm boring. I've been called worse. In any event, thanks for watching, and always keep your hands in the tank. Ciao for now.